By the eve of the Civil War, East Central Illinois remained the least settled portion of the state. But the construction of the Illinois Central Railroad, which linked Chicago with the Mississippi River at Cairo, brought immigrants to this region. The railroad became a major land agent itself, selling its federal grant lands through a large-scale advertising campaign and the efforts of recruiting agents scouring the East, South, and Europe for buyers. Several major groups of European immigrants arrived in Illinois in the Civil War era. Germans congregated in Cairo and LaSalle, as well as Chicago. Many Scandinavians passed through Chicago en route to the settlements in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. But Norwegians settled in a large group near Ottawa, and a significant Swedish community emerged in Rockford and other towns in Illinois' northern tier. German immigrants became an instrumental part of the state's young Republican Party and proved instrumental in carrying the state for Lincoln in 1860. Scandinavians, French, and Scots joined them in the Republican ranks, while the Irish turned to the Democratic Party. Irish immigration, begun with the construction of the Illinois and Michigan Canal in the 1840s, continued through the war years, thanks in part to the efforts of the Chicago Emigrant Agency, which maintained a vigorous campaign in the British Isles. Many Irish contributed to the period's Fenian movement, which set as its goal Irish independence from Great Britain. In 1863, Fenians held their first national convention and Irish National Fair in Chicago, and the city became a hotbed of movement activism. As Illinoisans left their frontier days behind, they became increasingly involved in others' westward migrations. Denizens of Jacksonville noted that a constant tide of movers passed through our streets, going west. Chicago, the great Babylon of the West, became a major way station for immigrants from foreign lands, as well as native-born Americans seeking a better lot in the West. The city increasingly served as a nexus between East and West, moving Western crops and materials to Eastern markets, and distributing immigrants to new homes in Wisconsin, Iowa, and other new territories. By the end of the Civil War, Chicago had become the great commercial center, serving a vast American hinterland stretching as far as the Rocky Mountains. Having defeated their rivals in Cincinnati and St. Louis for this lucrative designation, merchants brought grain, corn, lumber, and livestock into the city on a network of rails. In Chicago, workmen processed and packaged such raw materials and sent them on their way to Eastern markets. Chicago's immense industrial and commercial expansion attracted a legion of immigrants in the decades to come. The city's commercial concerns also packaged manufactured products, from tools and clothing to prefabricated houses for sale in the West. Generations of Chicago-based salesmen rode the rails in search of sales commissions in the West's growing cities, towns, and hamlets. Thus, Illinois decisively shaped the patterns of America's western settlement, even as that settlement passed by the state's borders.